to the week that was, TIOL's weekly news roundup.
Let's have a quick look at the major policy changes, legal and tax news coverage this week.
The government has cleared the 7th Central Pay Commission recommendations and approved a bonanza of pay and pension benefits for employees of the central government.
The Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs has recommended convening the monsoon session of Parliament from July 18 to August 12, 2016. The monsoon session will have a total of 20 sittings over a duration of 26 days. There are 11 bills pending in the Lok Sabha and 45 in the Rajya Sabha. This includes the GST bill, which is expected to be passed during the monsoon session.
The HRD Ministry has released the 43 pages new draft version of its new education policy, which is India's first policy in 3 decades. The new policy seeks to raise investment in education to at least 6% of the GDP. It also opens up India to top foreign universities and provides for the creation of educational tribunals. The policy also covers preschool education, curriculum renewal, school assessment, faculty development, besides language and culture. The policy provides for a 5-year review and has been placed in the public domain for comments and feedback.
Scotland, an independent nation yet a part of Britain, voted 62% in favour of continuing in the European Union. The country is weighing its options. Scotland might provoke a second independence referendum that would allow it to become a part of the EU by itself, while also remain a part of the UK's economy and its international obligations.
With Britain surprisingly voting to exit the European Union, gold prices have surged by 4% to $1,315 an ounce, to its highest level since mid-2014, proving once again that gold indeed becomes a safe haven in uncertain times.
Direct tax collections for the first quarter have been unusually high, showing a buoyant growth of 22% over last year, largely due to the change in advance tax collection rules. About 48% of the total direct tax collections of Rs 1.2 lakh crore or Rs 64,000 crore was from personal income tax collection.
On the other hand, corporate tax collections at Rs 55,000 crore for the first quarter of the current financial year remained poor, marking an increase of only 2% over last year. Besides a weak output and profitability, it also indicates slow economic recovery.
E-commerce markets will fuel a 30% growth in Chinese imports to India by 2018. Import is currently around $60 billion and may cross $80 billion by 2018. Indian e-commerce companies are planning to connect 10,000 Indian sellers with large suppliers from China by offering them product quality assurance and warehousing support. And now we move on to the news in detail, starting with the pay hike bonanza approved by the government.
There is good news for central government employees. The Union Cabinet has approved the 7th Central Pay Commission recommendations with effect from January 1, 2016. The revised salaries of more than 1 crore central government employees and pensioners will be paid from July 1, 2016 onwards. It is perhaps for the first time in a long time that Pay Commission recommendations are going to be speedily implemented. Unlike the recommendations of the 5th CPC, for which employees had to wait for 19 months, or even the 6th CPC, which was implemented after 32 months. The government has approved the new pay matrix as recommended by the Commission and done away with the present system of pay banks and grade pay. The minimum pay payable to a newly recruited employee at the lowest level has been increased from Rs 7,000 to Rs 18,000 per month. The rate of increment has been retained at 3%. The general recommendations of the Commission on pension and related benefits have also been approved. To bring about parity between defence forces and the combined armed police forces, the Cabinet approved further improvements in the defence pay matrix. The Cabinet also rationalised the 196 allowances. The government has not accepted the recommendation of the Commission relating to the steep hike in employees' monthly contribution towards the central government employees' group insurance scheme. The existing rates shall continue. The implementation of the 7th Central Pay Commission recommendations is estimated to have an additional financial impact of more than Rs 1 lakh crore. Ministers are now empowered to clear high-value, non-planned projects too.
To expedite project appraisal and approvals, the government has revised the financial powers of ministers and departments to clear high-value projects. Ministries and departments can now appraise non-planned schemes up to Rs 300 crore as against the financial limit of Rs 75 crore earlier. All the non-planned project proposals involving an expenditure higher than Rs 300 crore will be appraised by the Committee on Non-Planned Expenditure. Ministers have also been empowered to approve high-value projects up to Rs 500 crore as against the earlier limit of Rs 150 crore. Only the Finance Minister shall approve projects of Rs 500 crore to Rs 1000 crore. Higher value projects shall require the approval of the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. These revised financial limits cover project cost escalations too. Can credit be availed for tax paid through TDS under the Income Declaration Scheme 2016?
The CBDT is literally on its toes with the PMO and the Finance Minister closely monitoring the implementation of the Income Declaration Scheme. Within 48 hours of the FM's meeting with professionals and promises made, the CBDT issued yet another FAQ clarifying that the information provided with the income declaration shall not be shared with any other law enforcement agency, not even within the department with any other wing. The board has also clarified that credit for tax deducted at source on the income declared shall be allowed only in those cases where the related income is declared under the scheme and the credit for the tax has not already been claimed in the return of income filed for any assessment year. However, the government seems to have turned down the demand for immunity under the indirect tax laws and the SEBI Act. Will banks be allowed to provide home loans to buy land?
In a move that could well change the face of real estate sector, HDFC Bank Chairman Deepak Parekh has proposed that banks and housing finance companies be allowed to fund land transactions. The move, if permitted, could bring down land cost and improve housing affordability. At present, non-banking financial companies and foreign firms charge exorbitant rates to fund these transactions. Additionally, a digital platform to grant the multiple approvals in a time-bound manner has also been proposed. After all, real estate, housing and urbanization is the key focus of the present government. The Delhi High Court has dismissed hundreds of appeals by the IT department.
The Income Tax Department has shockingly lost 272 cases, possibly worth hundreds of crores of tax revenue, just because it failed to correct the defects. The Delhi High Court has dismissed these 272 cases pending since 2012, simply waiting for the department to refile after curing defects like illegible script, missing pages, lack of stamps, wrong font, etc. These cases included the appeals filed by the IT department against the Airports Authority of India and Microsoft Corporation involving a tax effect of 300 crore each, besides other cases like Bharti Cellular, Nokia, Vodafone, SR, HCL Technologies, Nestle India, PepsiCo India, etc. The High Court bench led by Justice Mr. S. Muralidhar refused to condone the department's extraordinary delay in refiling these cases and also directed the court registry to make sure these appeals were not listed for hearing ever again. For other similarly defective appeals pending post-2012, the High Court set a deadline for the department to refile, which would be taken up on a case-to-case basis for condonation of delay. A subcontractor used the Right to Information Act to avoid service tax troubles.
A subcontractor stuck with a demand notice for payment of service tax asserted before the CSTAT that he was not liable to pay this tax because the main contractor, a public sector company, had already discharged this liability on the full contract value. And what's more, he backed this claim by the information received from the public sector company under the Right to Information Act of 2005. The CSTAT faced the unusual question whether information received under the RTI Act could be taken as conclusive proof of payment of service tax. The tribunal noted that the subcontractor had obtained the information from the Public Information Officer as per the official records of the public authority kept in proper custody. So, there was no reason to disbelieve the information, and the subcontractor's appeal was allowed. Indirect tax reforms have worked. The CBDT has become liberal and tax-friendly.
The Central Board of Excise and Customs courageously conducted a taxpayers survey, wanting to know the impact of the reforms conducted over the last 2 years. The results are out, and 72% of the taxpayers have held that the board has indeed become liberal and friendly to the taxpayer. 92% of the taxpayers acknowledge the board's success in simplifying customs and excise business processes. 85% were happy with the legislative changes for warehousing. 45% felt the positive attitudinal change in senior tax officials, while 51% acknowledged an improvement at the ground level among the tax inspectors. The most outstanding achievements of the CBDT was launching the Customs Single Window project in April this year that brought together 6 ministries on a single window using digital applications like WhatsApp groups in problem solving. Customs clearances and processing of refunds was also speeded up. Both FICCI and KPMG jointly conducted this survey, reaching out to 45,000 respondents across India from the manufacturing, trading and service industries. The RBI has published the first edition of its Handbook of Statistics on Indian states.
The RBI has confirmed that Maharashtra continues to be the richest state in the country, followed by Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh in terms of the gross state domestic product. The Reserve Bank of India's first Handbook of Statistics on Indian states also reveals that for 2015-16, Tamil Nadu recorded the highest fiscal deficit, followed by Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. While Maharashtra scored as the top state in terms of state-wise availability of power, Dadra and Nagar Haveli were best in terms of per capita availability of power. IT department will soon launch E-Nivaran.
To fast-track the redressal of taxpayers' grievances, the Income Tax Department will soon launch a new one-page form called E-Nivaran, which will be available online at the department website and at the Aikar Sampark Kendra or Tax Facilitation Center. The E-Nivaran form, similar to the ITR form, will seek the taxpayer's name, PAN card details, mobile number and email, besides providing the space for explaining the grievance in detail. The E-Nivaran project will be connected to all electronic databases of the department and integrate all online and physical grievances received by the department to ensure a speedy resolution. The CBDT has also launched a new logo for E-Nivaran. On this note, we conclude this bulletin of the week that was. Thank you for watching.
You may write into us at editor@tiol.in. Have a great weekend ahead.